What's up, y'all? It's Cecil West, Beyond the Harmony, beyondtheharmony.com, back again with the one and only
Jason Quest.
And this is your question of the week. Every week, we're trying to ask you something to get your brain moving about what you really think about the Bone Thugs and Harmony. And this week, Jay Quest, I got to know, this is going to make some waves. This is going to make some people say, this has never happened. This is really going to push some people to say maybe some negative. But hey, you can't have great without a little bit of bad. So this week, we got to figure out what was Bone's biggest mistake through their entire career.
Man, I just feel the comment section erupting right now.
Bone's never made a mistake. They're 25 years of flawless decisions.
If I had to speak on behalf of the board, I would think that they would say, real easy, not making East 1999 style for the past 25 years.
Making new waves.
Making new waves, yeah. But I think overall it's a pretty simple answer, is that they didn't find a way to make the ruthless contracts work. I know they were young guys. They were probably upset with their contract. I get it. But I think as far as the industry goes, the way they handled themselves with that, at least all the negativity that they said about the owner, whether it was true or false, there's kind of a professionalism, honor amongst other industry people that, you don't do labels that dirty, especially when they're the ones that could potentially be paying the bills. And all that. And Ruthless did a lot for Bone Thugs and Harmony. I don't know the insides and the outsides of the contracts and all that, but it just kind of was a bad look, especially if you're just an industry like business owner, not into rap, not understanding differences of opinions and different ways to express yourself, or even understanding the artist perspective. I think it probably closed a lot of doors, especially reckon that mansion story that we heard. There's a lot of things they did that were going to send people that could have backed their projects probably in the wrong way. That's what I think. I just think they should have found a way to make that Ruthless contract work. Maybe suck it up and do 7 albums. I think it was like 7 albums they had to do. Had they just done it, then became a free agent and did it with class, I think they would have had a lot more opportunities. I think it hurt them. That's what I think their biggest mistake was.
So I want to say that I'm almost in total agreement here, except it's probably their second biggest mistake in my eyes. But before I talk about their biggest one, I always like to elaborate my feelings on what Quest says, and I like when he does it back. So let me just elaborate my feelings on that, because I do think that's a close thing as well. Something that I believe Tamika Wright takes a lot of heat for is, Tamika fucked everything up. Tamika fucked everybody. Tamika just fucked everybody and screwed people over. And I'm like, hey, Bone Thugs and Harmony didn't sign a fucking contract with Tamika Wright. They signed a contract with Eric Wright. And that's an important thing that's never acknowledged, is that Tamika upheld the contracts that they signed with Eazy-E. And it is a wonderful thought to think that Eazy would have been alive and acknowledged what Bone was worth, because they were certainly worth more than what was happening. But we do know many Ruthless Records artists walked away for these same complaints while Eazy-E was alive. Let's just put the most notable one out there, which is fucking Ice Cube, who was a massive franchise player to lose over a little bit of money. And the list is a mile fucking long of artists that jumped ship from this. And I think that that's important for us as fans to start to acknowledge. I'm not saying that Eazy wouldn't have done them right. I certainly hope that he would have. But I will say that the facts and the proof, the facts don't lie, kids. The facts don't lie. A lot of people jumped from Ruthless Records because of these same motherfucking issues.
Death Row.
Um,
Just look at Death Row. Man.
yes. So I want to put that out there that I actually believe that Tamika did a lot of justice for Bone in a lot of ways. They were signed into these contracts. She could have done nothing with them. She could have shelved them for years. If you don't think that's possible, you guys don't remember how the industry worked in the 90s. When the internet rolled around, it made it easier to be shelved because you could be shelved but still have a social media presence. You could put out mixtapes. You could do all these things that while a company was holding you back, you could progress yourself. But in the 90s, if they decided to shelf you, guess what? It's a fucking wrap, kids. You're not featured on anybody's shit. You're not putting content out. There's no promotion. But Tamika Wright did a great thing. She saw these were franchise players. She did continue to run them under the same deal, which she should have said, hey, this isn't a great deal. And I agree with a lot of the feelings of Bone fans. So when Quest said they didn't find a way to make this work, I do think that was a large mistake. It probably could have been a more workable situation if they would have approached it more diplomatic and less like fuck her. I don't know if you guys have ever been told to fuck yourself before, but it doesn't make you want to do shit for anybody. It actually makes you want to say fuck you back, and I got you guys right where I want you. So the approach might have been bad. If they would have taken Quest's approach, that could have been worked out. With me saying all that and everything that Jay Quest just said, I'm going to say that the biggest fuck up ever, the biggest mistake, knowing that reality was that the Ruthless thing went bad and that they had that entire backstory of it going bad. And as shitty as it is, that's an incredible story to make it out of and be who you are. They have that entire story. Flesh and Bone goes to jail for almost 10 years. They now have this story. They've gone through the trials and tribulations of being Bone Thugs-n-Harmony with arguably one of the greatest rap songs of all time. Flesh and Bone gets out, and they drop the flop of flops with Unified, the World's Enemy. The fucking flop-tober of the fucking year. It was such a monumental mistake with that album. Everything was geared up for them to now make the thuggish, ruggish comeback that we've all waited for. We said when they're not with Ruthless, they are going to drop everything that we want. Everything that we've ever wanted is going to happen. Flesh and Bone is coming home. Busy Bone's back in the group. We went from 3 to 5 and motherfuckers are alive and we are about to get everything that we've ever wanted since 1995. And guess what? It was the biggest flop that you could have. People compare it to the World War III record. The World War III record was a fucking throwaway with a ton of like songs from other albums. This was an actual album that was produced, that was worked on, that had fucking multiple think tanks behind it, that had so many opinions and so much work just put into it. And that is what we got. And the World's Enemy failing is why you now haven't seen a Bone Thugs-n-Harmony album for a fucking decade, because the failure of the World's Enemy shell-shocked the situation and made it reality to them and reality to us that everything that we ever thought about Ruthless Records and how it held them back may not have been true. And that, Jason Quest, is what I believe the biggest mistake of all time was. Everything that you said was gearing up for this to be the swan song grand slam because of everything you said, and the ball was dropped.
Remember that time they changed their name, and everybody thought they changed their name?
You mean the Boneless Thugs-n-Harmony?
Yeah.
And the entire internet thought it was true, and that was going to be their biggest fuck up of all time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you think their name changed to Boneless Thugs-n-Harmony?
I think that it was a fucking joke, not a dick, guys. Don't take it so hard. Like, Come on, y'all. I remember being on the internet as that was happening and leading up to the the commercial, I saw why people were worried. But then once the commercial dropped and the fact that people were just not pushing play or not getting the comedy and people were like, this is such a fuck. This is why Busy Bone's not around. I'm like, dude, come on, guys. Come on. But hey, maybe some of you at this point still believe that. And that'll be the biggest fuck up that you put in the comments. But Boneless Thugs in Harmony have 25 years of chances for you to pick from. So that's the one. What do you think about my mine?
Yeah, I would think that that is certainly their biggest mistake in the last 10 years. But I think not showing up to photo shoots for BTH Resurrection, because it sends like, it's not just like a single event. Imagine you're the photographers. You have no idea about like the attitudes. You're like, hey, these guys, whoever the artist is, they got to be thrilled. They got their own photo shoot, the whole staff, and nobody shows up for photos and not showing up for events. And again, it's not just hurting Ruthless Records. It also hurts whatever venue or whatever establishment is expecting to have the band there, and only part of the band shows up, or there's no photos. When you don't.
Ruthless had great photographers, great videographers, great artists. I mean, there was great people that were being stood up and left out, and I guess another huge mistake. I hate that we're just shitting on them right now with the mistakes, but I also remember Saturday Night Live not happening because Busy didn't show up and wasn't gonna do it, and that's a staple situation to pass on and fuck up.
And you know how it is. I mean, there's reputations. There's the word gets around pretty quick. So and not only that, there's so many starving artists that would do anything to get on, and then you got people not taking advantage of the opportunity that they were given. But again, it's easy to say that from here. I know they were young guys at the time. I know they were in a bad scenario. So
I don't just so you know, I don't think that Bone made a mistake signing the contract like itself. You know what I mean? Like they did the right thing signing that contract. They were absolutely nobodies when they signed it. They had no weight to argue against this. That I'm sure that was the Ruthless side, which is, hey, come on guys, like who the fuck are y'all? Like we're gonna make you superstars, and they did. So I don't think Bone was wrong for signing those contracts, because how were they gonna? They had nothing, right? They had Flow Motion.
Yeah, man.
That was the weight that they brought to the table. Like that was only worth so much. The fact that they got a record deal off of that should tell you what you need to know. So I don't think they were wrong in signing it, but definitely wrong in how it was handled. But the label handled it wrong too. I will say that they were probably genuinely pissed after the Crossroads when a renegotiation wasn't done post Crossroads. Then the Crossroads, then that you can put some of that on Ruthless at that point. Up until the Crossroads, I can see them kind of sticking firm with those contracts, but they should have brought negotiations to the table.
Yeah.
But still, you got to be a man of your word, and you signed this contract for 7 albums and all this shit, and you said that you would do these things that all of a sudden you're not doing, and you guys signed that shit with Eric.
Yep. And actually, you didn't sign it with Eric. It signed with Eric Wright on behalf of Ruthless Records. So, I'm pretty sure the contract said Ruthless Record. I don't know. I didn't see the contract, but
yeah.
But in terms of contracting with another human, you're contracting with somebody, and that you think that's what the relationship is, and then the situation changed. And to your point about the renegotiation, since the situation did change, that should have been grounds for some form of a renegotiation. But hey, we still got Bone after 25 years. So whatever happened. And at least we still got the guys, and we're still enjoying the music, still bitching about everything that they do, even when it's good. And sometimes when it's bad. Actually, when it's bad, everybody tells you, no, you can't say anything bad.
Right.
Unless it's changed the name, when you don't really change the name.
We got 25 years plus to look at all the amazing things that they've done, and Bone has definitely done more successful things than things that are wrong. Every one of us has fucked up and dropped the ball somewhere along the way. I've dropped the ball. Jace Quest has dropped the ball. We have now told you where we think Bone dropped the ball. Jason Quest thinks that they fucked up by not making the Ruthless Records contracts work. I think that the big ball drop was not making Unified everything that it should have been, that we thought it was going to be. But now it is time for you to tell us what you think that the biggest mistake of Bone's career is. Don't forget to drop that in the comments and explain why you think that. And please share this with another Bone fan so we can find out what they think as well. And we will catch you on the next one.
Beyond the harmony for the fans we celebrate.